Is my clap?
Yeah.
Alright. We are back with another episode of the Grind Theory Talk Show. I know you guys missed me. We are back with another episode of the Grind Theory Talk Show. The Grind Theory Talk Show is a show meant to inspire, motivate, and most importantly, educate our listeners on ways they can improve in the game of life and in business. And we do that by sharing the stories of our guests, sharing their struggles, their obstacles, their failures, and how they have overcome them, and the lessons they have learned in the process. Now, I am your host, Aquille Ambrose. You don't know, the man behind the camera who making everything work, the lighting and everything, is my main man, Ori. Now, you guys know, first things first, before we start anything, we have to get the man upstairs praise. So, I thank God for allowing us to be here. Thank him for bringing the guest, for bringing Ori, for allowing us to make it through the day so far, and hopefully to carry us through the proceedings safely. Now, quick recap of last week's episode. So the last week's episode, we interviewed Kenny Johnson, which is one of the most prolific basketball scorers in Canadian collegiate history. The man averaged 32 points in his final year in college. He is an NBA scout and an NBA trainer. And one thing that really stand out to me in that episode was it's a very common known belief, or a common known thing. But a lot of times we don't lock into it. One of the things he said is, if you want something bad enough, you go figure out a way to get it. And it's something that I knew, but sometimes you lose track of it. You know something, but you ain't really practicing it, or sometimes you lose a little bit of track on it due to life's ups and downs. You get beat up from life up and down, and you forget. But it's really true. The fact is that if you really want something, somebody ain't really gotta tell you how to get it. You go figure out a way. If you really truly want it, you go figure out a way to get it. And so that's something that I had to reapply again in my life now, and I hope that's something that really stood out to me from that last episode. Now, I'm gonna switch up things a little bit, So today, man, we have a special guest in the building, Today, I'm interviewing a co-worker of mine, when he first come on the job, we meet him and it just clicked right from the beginning, I mean, I don't know if it's because we both come from the islands, or if it's because, we like the sunshine, or because we like to think, and we like to look at life and constantly learn. But one thing I can say about this man is that every time I talk to this man, he have a very unique way of thinking, a very unique thought process. And every time I talk to him, I leave learning something. Even if it's a different way to look upon things, a different approach, a different way to look at the whole picture of life. And he has so many different connections that he can make. And I know we're going to dive into it, so I'm not going to go too deep into the intro. But this man is a constant learner in the game of life. Constantly striving on his mission, on his goal to be great and to create a legacy for his family. Now, you come straight from yard, out of the city of Chapelton, the parish of Clarendon, the island of Jamaica. Watch, I refer to him as Big Boss, my brother, my Ras Dennis Campbell. Yes, man.
Master,
yes, touch me,
master. You got yourself, my king.
Yes, sir,
Yes.
How you doing, boss?
Oh, good,
Yeah.
Wake up, we're happy for life.
Yeah.
So we just go and strive.
You
understand?
Yes, sir.
Oh, good, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad to get you up on the interview, man, because you don't know, we always there talking, and we have so many, you have a very unique way, like I mentioned, of thinking about things, a very unique thought process. And I wanted to dive more into the story, more of the journey, of you, and understand and see where that thought process come from, and different things that you go through in life. We get this kind of thinking and stuff like that. So watch, I want you to take us back to where it all began.
I take you forward, you know. So, you know, as ones who kind of change perspective, we look at things through different lenses, you know, because life itself requires that. You know, we don't just see on the linear, you know, we try to look at things through different, and this way of thinking is just through the journey, because we never start out like this,
Exactly.
you know.
Yeah.
You know, like
Evolution.
you, yes, the evolution, you know, like you a while ago, you know, start out the thing with a prayer and them kind of way, and at that kind of household that we grew up in, you know, where we have some grandparents where them deep, you know, them kind of thinking, because we grew up with my mother, and she always, I don't want to say ship way off, but maybe she look at reprieve, or maybe she knows say something down there so to learn, but she not say it. So she knows say every summer, country. Every bush.
Bush.
Every December, bush. And we love it, because we get to spend enough time with our grandparents them, and so that kind of way, you know, we have an appreciation for the elders. When you have an appreciation for the elders now, you have an appreciation for ancient, for history. Because them come up through it, them live it. So you get to talk to them, you get to talk to all of the ones them who, they're before you, so them journey longer. Which means that them see something on the road where you wanna see yet. You know? So, and the other guys, you know, we grew up, travel, start out to look, but the funny thing is we never go to school in the country there. No. All our schooling take place in Kingston.
Okay.
You know?
Capital.
So, yeah, capital of JA there. So, we go what we call primary school, that's elementary. And then we go high school, spend 5 years there. So, now, in high school now, you know, normally your parents them try to lead you on a path. You know, sometimes you feel like you know this business already. Now, life I was sure you say you don't really know. You know, yeah.
I heard it.
Life I got become that teacher that you never want to listen to. Right? And so when we leave high school now, you know, we're kind of in a quandary, because normally at that time in Jamaica you have to have like a 560 or 660, and then have a certain part of them I try to put you on, saying if you're working in the banking, if you're working in the industry, in the insurance, you need at least 560 subject for travel. And when we leave out of school, zero.
Yes, man.
That's true, we're not listening, you know? So we feel like we can make it away, but anyway, you know, like automatically we get our work. And when we get the work there, it's like automatically something inside of me say, hey, you need to do something different. Because the work when get me, I like it. But me have to do it. So something inside I would say, well, what you gonna get what you need. So now we start look around. Now we know how our learning go. We know like some of the people them where them can go to 50 subject one time and them get through. No, we have to start strategize. I mean, like when I look forward upon it in a them time, but like no, if I sit down and I reflect and I say, oh, this was my thought process. Because even at the time, I kind of don't recognize it. But I doesn't know I need to do something. You know, and we chop up the subject then. You understand?
I choose which subject you want to study, you know.
Then me know how I choose? Well, I have to look on which part me then. I have to choose what I like. And I have to also choose what I know the capabilities there. Right? So me and figures, unless I'm money, we never friends. No, I love read. Everything we read. Newspaper, all something thrown down. When we grow up, my mother usually have some books like how you have in the corner right there, in like a showcase. And every Sunday we read one.
A whole book?
Whole book. We usually just take it outside while she carry on with her things. Then time that we in the high school and we read the book. And it's like, it normally have like 300, 400 pages. And then time we don't know if we sectionalize book and read it. But we just love read, so we just start read. Right? And so after we chop up the thought and say, okay, we have to go do some subjects in order to progressing in this world. Right? Because we don't know nobody. If we didn't know some people, maybe we don't need the subject.
Yeah.
But if you don't know nobody,
Yeah.
you have to go figure out what to do.
Yeah.
You have to figure out which key you have to open the door.
Yeah.
The contact are the key. You don't have the contact there. So what key you are going to use? So I decided, to, okay, we have to go learn something. So we're going to do some subject. Start with two.
So let me cut it off there. So you been know that and not dance, but if you know you know subject, because you done there read already. It just maybe the inch
about behavior, man. About behavior analysis, man. Sometimes you don't watch this, I'm gonna say. But at the time it was that. But we could have recognized, say we never put in the effort.
Okay.
We know we never put it in.
So you're not
like
on yourself.
No, we know. Because it's not like say we did do it, we did try it, and it never work out. So then now we have to go think, but I'm not good at this thing. We know we never put the effort in. So now, because we recognize what we need, now we have to put the effort. But even with putting the effort, we still have to strategize, because as we said, we can't go attack 50 one time or 6 or 7 one time. First of all, the finances not there to do that.
Yes.
So we said we are going to attack 2 first. We do 2. Pause. Do some work. Attack another one. Pause for a period, about a 3-4 year period. First you jump in on the pitch and out. Now you hire them for open when that happens. You're responsible for another person.
No, yeah. It changed things, you know.
Then you have to. Well, for me, for I that it have to change. Because now here comes a responsibility, which is not just me alone responsible for, but another life. So that, like after that, like my whole perspective start to change. Right? So now I start to say, okay, what am I next for do? What am I need for do? Now, I never start thinking about college just yet. But I say, I already gone 3, so I need another 3 or 4. So that is when I start planning. But I space them out now. Because after we go check something, we realize we need a figure subject. Although we are on from the maths, but we know we need a figure subject. So you know which one we choose. We just choose accounts.
Okay.
Money.
That's the best thing for choose, because they need that. That's what you need.
And it's so kind of plan it now, say, okay, we need a figure subject. We can sub it. Sub accounts for mathematics.
Exactly.
You know? And so we do that, and we end up in a place. So even after we get the subject, we end up in another place at work. And inside of this place, we get some friends, managers them, but them our friends, right? So we figure out how to bridge that gap, right? Now, look how it's funny. This individual, we don't have a call her name, but right? But this individual, she recognized something in a way, and she recommend me to a friend where she have, or know somebody, or want somebody for work. So I go to 2 chain.
Connection there.
Remember, she's superior, and she recommend me, because she recognize the interest of having a certain things, and she recognize that, right? So she say, you need this person, and this person, 3rd in line, go through 2 chains, and this person bring me forward. And we're inside of that space. Now, inside of that space, everything look hunky dory now. Everything look good. We are earn money. We can buy a little car. Child can eat. And them, so you could get complacent.
Yes.
And say X. But for some reason or another, my brain kind of not stays up. So we say, okay, or the elevation. Because inside of this place where we work now, where look, where can we elevate to? Now, when I'm a good brethren right now, right?
What on the boss? Let's just try and bring this up. Look on this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, when I'm a good brethren them right now for all these years, he was a supervisor there. And him find another opportunity. So space make. Right? So here where the other supervisor tell her nice, because I approach her now. She gonna make her say she can't get her the position she will give you a top up, but she can't give you the position. When vex, because we can do the work.
So, she can give you a different position then?
No, she not change the position. She just give me some of the duties. She give me some of the duties. She not change the position. But because we're argumentative, we convince her to give you a top up. So she give you a top up, but she make it clear. So she not give you the position. But she I know so I can do it. Because even when him there and I do it, we animal do it together. Him slip out, I can slip in. You understand? We did have that kind of relationship the way easy. Because we over what is happening. Right? So right there, so come like another triplet. And we said, okay. So we have a virgin where we meet at this other place where we work. And he might work at one place. But I know some money there.
Then I watch the place.
Alright. So that virgin, first of all I encourage him to take that work. Maybe it was a selfish decision on my part because I watch him and I say, him have the link what I don't have. But if him go in, him become I link.
That's a power to get.
Right?
Strategy. Yes.
Alright. And we did have 2 more brethren. So I think about them too. Because I know them situation, we in a similar situations. And I know say if him in, I can get him the other ones them too. Right? So, and this is the wharf now, this is the port. You need to work at the port, or you work at your Jamaica, and these places, and these times.
They're my big place, you know,
yes,
everything come through there.
Everything come through and the salary good. Decent enough you can live on.
And probably stable too because them are constant.
It kind of establish, but people work there for them 30 years and 40 years and them good. So I start pressure him. Every week, every 2 weeks. Them don't want nobody. What them say? And I have to rest. Because I want it, because I know what it can do.
And so I just said the thing in the beginning, I say, I want to learn from the last episode, you know. If you really want something, you go figure out how you forget.
You have to press.
You have to press, you go figure out how
you have to look and see where your road lead, you know. And see what are the other things on the side of the road, in the back of the road, wherever where you can use to help slide in yourself on the road. Right? So we go through and we press the bridge. Big up shine. Right?
Big up shine.
Right? And in get to in, now this is the other part of the journey now. When we get in, it's not the work we want.
So when you, because you're not going to see the work when you're going to look on the work. You're not going to see how exactly all you need to find it or how you have to do it in the job.
No. We know the positions because we are talking to him. So we have an idea of which work. Him already also give me an indication of which work would have a suit. But when we go in, so they might have in a group. So when we go in the room, like about 30 are we inside of the room.
Okay.
Right? And then them tell we what this group of 30 going to do. So them say this group of 30 are going to drive the mobile crane. So what? And we look through a window like how we look through your window, right? This is another one. I see the wheel, I can't see the rest of the thing. I said, what should I say? And she make we get up and go at the window and look up. So we're about 50 feet, 45, 50 feet in the air.
So the crane when you depend, they're all the way up there?
All the way up.
I get up there, I climb ladder up?
Yeah, you have to climb up. Jeez. Some ladders to go up.
Jeez.
I don't know if I'm afraid of height or nothing, but that become irrelevant. Right? So anyway, we get in and we at work. Climb the machine, we learn the machine and so we become good on the machine. Because anything we put to be brain to. Yeah. Because we need to master it, you know.
Yeah.
Right? Because one thing, anything you're going, you have to try to figure out how you need to become independent of all the other things and
yes.
you know.
Yeah.
Right? Because that make your life a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Right? Especially in that mad place.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we learn that and we do that for a period of time. But see another spot. Because as we say, this is just all my brain work. We go in at this place here, I look for the elevation. Right? And we see another spot. And we say, okay, that spot. That spot we lead to other spots, but that are the groundation for it. Because you need that one there, transition into the other one there. So we start out. And so them have groups are coming. So me in there for like maybe about 5 years me I do it. And
Can I do job there? Up on the mobile crane?
on the mobile crane, when I originally
Okay.
work it,
Okay,
because
so on the
we go in, you know, and this is how we complacency come in, you know, so that's why you have to always keep your eye on the prize. So we go in and we did our plan and we pass the plan, and the cabbage good.
Yeah.
Right? So we feel like, say, okay, we can do this.
Yeah.
As we said, something always inside of my brain, so look for the next.
Yeah.
And the next don't necessarily mean out, you know. It just means
Elevate. We can
when we can elevate.
Yeah.
How I can make this thing how me I do better for myself, for the other ones that I'm connected to, right? So we do that for about a 5 year. And then how them normally hire is them bring in batches. But we know the person who do the training. Because
Big connection there, man.
they will have to figure it out. Link.
Chain the power,
Right?
man.
And we get along with them too, you know.
Yeah.
I know funny thing, you know, these ones where we end up used as links, you know. They're not gonna say eye to eye, they're coming with temperament about itself, you know. We're not into the nonsense, you know, right? So we have to tell you how the thing go. We're not disrespect you. We have to respect your position. We have to hear what we need to say.
Yeah.
So we and them knock up a couple times,
Yeah.
but then them recognize
Respect,
our
respect.
state. Yeah. So then with them do now, we become cordial and we talk about things and them also recognize the skill set that we are bringing now because we are throw ideas out because we are see everything. Right? So we talk to this brethren and him say, alright, when the next group come in, your turn. Then my next brethren with me. They are with me too, you know. Up in this space there, and coming out of him, you know. Right? So we had him a reason, him get injured. And we are reason with him and we are say, alright, we're gonna do this. We're gonna try over yourself. We're gonna try this space here. So I go to the man and I talk to the man for me and the brethren and him say yes. So him say Monday morning, present yourself at the training room. You and this brethren. It's good to go. Boom. Monday morning, we just show you how obstacle jump up in your ways, you know. Monday morning, we and this brethren reach at the training room. Train for the day. Done. By the time we're gonna leave the training room, somebody accosts me round one corner.
From what there?
Yeah. And I said, I want to get into this thing. I can't go back into the training. Because I never authorized. No, this is an ego at play.
But you're higher up. You're above the man with
higher up. But this is ego at play because I'm above the training man.
Yeah.
But the training man can make the decision. But this is ego. Because him I say, it never got through I and I. So it's not good. Go back to the drawing board. Them two man have to leave. And my head not stay so. Because I don't sync up everything already.
I don't plan on that. I
you
don't
said-
add that in my plan already.
Right, how it become the next letter. So how do you kick out the letter?
Yeah.
So I say, okay, we hear it because this is the training man come to me and I tell we say, him say. Say, alright, cool, don't say a word. Or him office there. Him say, office round there, so we say, okay. We go around, we look for him. And we talk clip. Where I say, we're already in the training. You're bringing in another group of people to start training.
It's like fresh.
So why we not entitled to get the training? So my argument, they might try to escape, you know. Hear my argument. I never approve it. And you never send me a resume. But him just kill himself. So I said, don't move on muscle. Them time we don't have access to cell phone like how we have it right now. Put it in our inbox.
Oh, so man, just send that there.
Me just walk around the corner. In my inbox. Forward the email. Because I did already send one thing because the man did tell me what to do. But he did ignore it for weeks. That's why we never get in on the first set. So I send it to him now and I say, see it here.
I have no forget
He
that.
say, oh. I'm going to tell you about Monday because this is a Friday. It's a Monday, when the class already start. Now we can't hear Monday. We need to prepare for Monday. So you have to tell me by Friday to Sunday. That is when you have to tell I. You can't, because if you tell me Monday, that means I'm not going to that group the Monday now. You have to stretch me out.
Exactly.
I see your trickery. Yeah, I'm not into your trickery. Right? So from them time they like
You don't cut them off already from that right there.
yeah, and you have to just you see people ego at work and you have to figure out how to navigate around this thing. Because this person become an obstacle to what you want, you know. So you're high up on the prize and this guy try to shadow you. Right? So I'm like we and we go in and we do it. Them say we skill set again. Because it's just so we elevate. And I love the port, you know. The port of my university in itself. Just there we got people and when you encounter the different type of works, everything we're connected to it. I never need to go to college.
Learn everything.
I could learn everything that's up. Right? But in any event, I start thinking outside of the port and I say, but what if this port work leave by? So I have a program there where them help you with school. It's something to do my undergraduate.
So use the position as a vehicle to get to the next thing.
Because remember, whenever I undergraduated, I was already spent 5 years. So 5 years, it really gone. Well, it gone. Can't recoup it. Have to try to catch the next 5.
And then
one bus leave me. Have to wait for the next one.
And then you don't set up there now already because you're on their work and they must facilitate the next level. So
just like that.
Instead of you have to leave that one there and go school.
So now, them have the program where them say you can go if you go maritime. Them give you the time to go to school, Caribbean Maritime University turn now. At the time it was Caribbean Maritime Institute. So them say anybody going to Maritime we give you X percentage off. But the other part now, them say you have to finish the degree first, then come back, come check them, and then them give you what the money. I mean, not a problem with that. I mean, nah, fear. I want the money. You know what I say? So we go in at the school and we do the 4 years over there. Jump out, one of the professors them over there might encourage me now to come do the masters over there, but my brain don't kind of work that way because I look for connections. You know what I say? So if I just do everything in the one school, I don't get no different experience. So I tell him, no. I never did think about a masters at the time, but I just tell him no, because it's just one long line like that with the same kind of people, not different. I mean, different people can come in, yes, but it's the same methodology they work with. So, and I said, no. For a reason, upon a level, and we'll come out of that. And when we're there, upon the port still, because all of this had transpired inside of the port. You know? So when we're there upon the port now, we see another really notice board often. We have a plan.
The next opportunity.
Just like that. Come out of a position self-feed, you know. Right? So we look at it and we say, them have another position. So we like that position. First of all, we work out a door. Nice and big machine and run past it. If you're a sight machine, the work exciting still, but if you don't know what you're doing, the place dangerous. So right away you left come out and you don't go back home to the youth. You know? So all of these things are playing on the mind. You know? Right? Because sometimes with complacency you become so used to that you not even recognize the danger. You know? So this is where your awareness have to kick in. You know? Right? So we spot the position and we apply for it. Right? Now, my demeanor, no, extroverted. But you out and everybody know your name and said, no, you will see me, but you kind of don't know me. That kind of way there. Right? So, we apply for it and the planning manager called me up in an interview and I still never reason like how we had a reason. Because in my interview, I tell them in an interview, I reason why I reason.
They like that, you know.
We have reason. Because you have to tell me what you want, you tell me what you want, and expectation and all these things. But we are talking like people.
You tell me that.
You understand? Them style, let me start learning. You understand? So I start practicing too. Kind of just come overnight, so like that. You know? That's some things that we're formulating and we just start practicing. So, there was another virgin, you know, where they have more experience than me. Where them could have should be in the role, you know. But you know, I went out the degree.
Come back there.
And the connection that me not having it. You know what I say? So him know them. I don't know them. but my connection will open my door at a degree. Because I don't know from Adams, it's just the reasoning and conversation, and then him say, okay, you, Ian, you never live for regret it, for sure. You know what I say? Because we have a work ethic where we follow it the same way. Because not because they give you an opportunity, that means now
complacency.
We're going to reach. So while I'm inside that department, you know, where I look again.
Nah, stop.
Can't stop. Because the port's so big and diverse. You have a whole heap of places where you can transition to. Right? When we skip out a little part still now. When we started the undergrad, there was a plan in the mind, you know. But that plan there, I got to take the years for reach. So we didn't sit down in another culture. But we didn't need that. Right? But we soon traversed to the part there. But we're inside of the new work, the planning department now, and there was another bridge on the outside. Him recognize the work. We had him not kids before, but him recognize the skill set when we are work. So him come to me and him said to me, say, him have to know, come do a supervisory work up on the outside. And we asked to him say, you know, say no. Because we don't want that. Because that never in the cards for we. We have a different plan. But him recognize that skill set and him try to utilize it too. We give him kudos for that. But me depend on my plan. I can't allow you to deviate me off of my plan. You know what I say? You have a plan, but your plan of work and my plan, I have to figure out how to elevate and go to the space where me want to go to. Right? So I tell him no. You know what the man do? The man knows some have a relationship with the operations manager, you know. Good enough. The man circumvent that, you know, and that's got to him, you know. And I tell him. Say him wow.
You want you out?
No, him want me to come out the come work because I'm outside. No, me there inside after me done plan for me run left outside. Because I run leave outside and get inside now and I navigate the inside. Right? So I go to our planning manager and I said to him, say, you know, so this person want this for happen, and him said to me, him said something to me where at the time I never that prayed. Him said to me, say, just be mindful of the decision. Because the decision might affect the precision.
Mindful.
I understand what I'm saying, but him not speak to because he's a manager talk to me. And he's not talk about another manager, so I'm careful what I say. But I hope as well I say. Right?
So expand on that point there. Yes, expand on that point there.
So what I tell me say is the WAF is a funny place. So if I refuse this position now, when time comes for me to go to the next position, they're going to give me because I'm going to remember that. So I'm going to refuse that. And so it's almost like them carrier. What we call backyard or belly. So he might carry that kind of feeling just because me they refuse because his ego at play again. So that's why you have to be mindful of your money. You have to manage your egos, you know, even when yours, you know.
You understand now because you say I like if you never work and you say I'm gonna give you overtime. And you say nah, I'm not gonna take the overtime. And then you say now you say boy, I need overtime. I say nah.
No man. I when they need you,
yeah,
but even when they need you in that space there, you know, you tell him no, nobody use him suffer the consequences because him claims him a teacher lesson. That are the claim that's it. Right? So I take it. Whereas when I take it, I planned it already in motion. So now it now will hurt me. Plan I go.
I'm planning with that now with that in there too.
With that in there, and now this thing going to be short-lived because time coming to move. You know what I say? And that is how we navigate the work and the school to the work to the coach.
See,
right? That's how.
I say so boss. Me take a lot of things from them there now, from that experience there. First thing me take away are the power of connection and relationship.
Quite so.
Because everything, through each position you move up through, a connection. But you get anywhere off there, I want connection.
So the connection get me in. Connection get me in. But everything after that is a different connection because it's not people connection. now is my skill set. And I make sure I'm put myself in a position to be able to take advantage of.
See, so for somebody out there now, right, or try take away something like that,
Yeah.
how I can take that and break that down for myself, for use for myself.
Well, it come with a plan. Because remember, none of this for me I do is without a plan.
Yeah.
So I have to look at the plan. What are the ingredients to my plan? Right? Because we have to cook.
Yeah.
As Caribbean people, and we like spice. Right? So if me go formulate a plan, what are all the things inside of my plan? So if we use anybody, you would, for example, you set the plan, which is the goal, and now you start working towards it with all of the things in what you need to accomplish it. Right? So it's two ways about it. They can either set the plan out there and then start drop the things in place, or them short. So the plans are short. You don't know what the big one is, but you know say there's something you need, because sometimes true we don't actualize ourselves yet. We don't really know what it is that we're heading for, but you have to create a foundation. You understand?
Yeah.
Sometimes when you build a house, you kind of don't know which color you're going to use it. You need the black stem to go up.
Yeah.
Black stem to go up, and them render it off.
Yeah.
You say, oh, we need a color roof here. And the roof might determine the color walls. You know what I'm saying? So you set the plans, the small plans, you need a work. You need a job. You need it to pay your ex. Maybe along the line now, you recognize, oh, this is the ultimate thing I want to work towards. Because remember, it depends on the stage of your life where you're at. Because you're 19, you're 20, 17, somewhere there. You're kind of this big thing where you're going to have around and say you're not ready for it yet. You don't know. But you immediately tell us you need some monies. You need a job. But you get the monies. You need a job, and you have to create for yourself. Now you have to recognize that education itself, what you're going to use for getting this job. Like personally, I see it as a tool. So I know as a mechanic, we need a spanner, we need a wrench, we need a vice grip, and we need screwdrivers. Education for me, tool. Need it in my toolbox. When the time comes, block it out. Use it how I want. If it don't qualify in this space for me there, I mean formal education, just certifications and all of these things. If it don't require in this space that I am at, it will never come out of the box. Stay in the box until I need it. But it need to be in the box. But then when I reach for it and it's not there. What do I do?
And the opportunity come in, you're not prepared for it.
Okay. That's why it needs to be inside of the box. You have these mobile mechanics all about the place. It now come with one wrench.
Come
with a million things you don't need. I don't know why not carry there.
That's true. That's true.
You might call him and tell him, say, your water pump gone, you know. You think of the water pump. But you don't know that yet. He might come to the diagnosis for you. But him need to make sure, so when him reach, him have all the tools. Maybe if he might drive 40-50 minutes. He might drive 40-50 minutes again, and more money that upon you, you know. Well, in time or gone, can maybe have another work line up too. So maybe him lose the opportunity there. He have to make sure him come prepared for anything. This is your life. Get prepared for anything. And you have to arm yourself for these things, but you cannot see it. You see the small things in front of you, but some things out there you can't know about. Right?
That there is a big lesson right there, you know, because I think sometimes you only prepare for little thing and we can see, right? Like if you say you drive your car, you know, you put in your gas because you need gas to go work, but you know, have no emergency fund for when the car break down. It might be inevitable that the car might, in the process of the 10 years we had the car, it gonna break down, something gonna happen. So if you don't have no emergency money, when the thing happen, now you're out of a car, you can't get to work, you can't do nothing now.
No, but you know the funny thing about that same analogy that we use, you know? When you buy the gas, you don't buy the gas for one drive, you know?
You buy it from multiple.
So here comes the challenge. The same thought process will make you don't buy the gas for one drive. But maybe you buy gas for a week, or you buy gas for 2 weeks, or whatever, depending on how you know your money coming. You need to apply that to the other things. That's not just good in a one application. The forward thinking when you do for the gas for 2 weeks, it looks simple, you know. But the forward thinking when you do for the gas for 2 weeks, because maybe when you buy the gas this week, you say, well, my next paycheck now come for 2 weeks, and I buy the gas now, so that means I'm going to have to think about the gas for the next 2 weeks. If I saw you get paid. I saw you buy food too, you know. Right?
It's true. It's true.
So that means the same thought process, you apply it across the whole spectrum of your life. And that is the challenge that some of us have. We plan for this immediate. And we can't, you plan for this immediate, but you don't plan for the future, for what is to come. Or the same application, or the same intensity where you put in a 2-week plan. You don't put in a 10-year plan.
That's it.
Right? Because here what the challenge is now. The 2 week, right? So you can see it. 10-year, a little bit unnecessary. All of the other little things can jump inside of the 10-year, but that's alright. You have a plan. And you don't deviate from it. Anything will come. You're ready. Alright. You know we like analogies, right? So, if we are travel to, we're there in Canada, you know. Like we say, we are travel go Toronto. Right? And you start the journey, and you reach a Saskatchewan. Something happened to the car. You had a plan to go to Toronto. You turn back.
No.
What happened to your Toronto plan?
You have to figure it out still. Because of that day emotion.
If you had a plan for reaching a 5 day, now you're reaching a 7 or 8. But you're still going. Unless there's something definitely will require you to turn back. But if the plan was to go, you're gone. Same application across the rest of your life.
So almost like, even you plan to go to Toronto, and then you reach Saskatchewan and you break down. But you have to get to Toronto, so you have to figure out how to navigate that little obstacle that you still get to the destination.
You might need left car this time.
Because you have to get there still.
You need to go, because depending on the importance of what is happening in Toronto, which might affect the rest of your life, right? You know that it is very important, so that means you're going to finish the journey. So why when you make a plan for other things in your life, I only use the Toronto analogy now. So why when you plan other things in your life, you plan say you want a house, you plan you want a car, whatever, but you lose the work. That means you just need to pause the plan. Right? The plan is dead. So that means that the next work you get, it might not pay as much either, because they said the other obstacle will come in. So maybe in the first work you'll save $20. This time maybe you only can save $5. You might need to expand the plan. Now there are other things you can put in the mix. Because if you save 20 over here, so you save 5 over here, so now maybe you need to find another thing for the 15, whatever.
To make up.
But that is another ingredient.
Back to the cook killer.
Can't leave out pot. Right? So when we apply stuff to one instance in our life, part of the challenge, as I say, is figuring out how to apply it across the whole spectrum. And that is my thought process. Anything I do in my short term, so any plan where I make for the short term, so if I make a plan for it, come here today. Right? Any plan, any ingredients where I put inside of this plan, I have figured out if I can apply it to the rest of my journey. Because there's a way to apply it, but you have to be cognizant of the fact that it can be applied. Because if you think that it cannot be applied, and here it goes the mind.
Ignorance, if you're not thinking about America.
Well, the ignorant part is that maybe you don't know, but maybe now you need to figure out how to know. You know what I'm saying? Because the ignorance can be a hindrance. It might, the ignorance can be like fear sometimes. It make you aware of what is there. Now, after I've known, what is my next step? I'm ignorant of a lot of things as I go through life. But as I become aware of them, how do I utilize them? How do I know more about this thing? Because in conversations, people say things you didn't know. People do things in your space that you didn't recognize could be done.
Yeah.
So, it now says to you, possible.
Yeah.
Now, if possible, what are all my other things that I need to do to make it possible?
Yeah. Well, the ingredients
For
that
I.
make it possible.
If it's possible for I, because if it's possible for the one,
Yeah.
it can possible for the other.
Mm.
Right? So that means that the mind now has to change.
Mm.
And the mindset needs to be consistent.
Mm.
And consistency with thought process is part of our challenge.
Mm. See, what you say now, even when you say apply, what you apply from today, even if I come on the show, in the interview, you apply from today. You have to figure out how to apply this thing now to everything in life.
Yeah.
Leads into the thing you always tell me, You tell me everything is connected.
Like a chain, man.
Like a chain, everything connected. You say, you always tell me that. I one thing I always tell me, say, everything is connected. In that everything that we do in life, you can find some connection. If you watch things in nature, you can figure out how to apply that thing in life. Just like you was telling me before we started about the tree.
Of
when
course.
The tree grow, when it grow from a seed grow, become a tree. Tree grow fruit. The fruit drop the seed.
New seed.
New seed.
New life.
New life.
So, if we look on the interconnection of the things that in my life, from leaving school with zero, right? To recognizing that you need to make a change. Something did force me, but the change is to come and accept it. So this is my deficiency. So how may I overcome that? Because we can't overcome the deficiency. The man where lose him foot, he get a wheelchair, the compensation, man can do other things. He get a wheelchair and get another foot. I perform a similar task. That means I'm now still mobile. He was both foot, still wheelchair, still the prosthetics. Now I'm fine. He must figure out how to utilize that in his life. Because the life still have to progress in him. The only time that progress stop is when they gonna push up, as them said. You gonna rewater the earth. Before that, possibilities.
It just made me think about something, You say, how the man in the wheelchair, sometimes I feel like, I think you mentioned there is that we not think about how to navigate until we get put in a situation. So until you lose your boat like them, then you have to realize about not to use the wheelchair. But if you did plan, right? If you did plan for all the things in them, not say you go plan for losing like them, but if you did plan for everything, you'll already be ready. But sometimes we get forced into the situation and then we have to adjust.
So now is your reaction. But now you have to train yourself for reaction. Because all of these things is just you training yourself, Right? So, I'm going to use the same analogy of the man and the foot. Something in Gouta Road, something immediate, foot gone. Here we have the space to think. I'm like, that's what I did. Now it can be, if I'm conscious while the foot them go, then I can say, oh, well, the foot them go. If it's a man where he must live in a reality, so he must need to plan the next step. Now, remember that you have the emotions are connected to that now, so that that might not be as easy. So now you have to overcome the emotion first and recognize that the foot gone. The emotion can't bring back the foot. Nothing can bring back the foot. You have to accept that the foot gone. How am I going to navigate without the foot? Because that's the first thing. So now you need to look at all of the services that you might be able to take advantage of. If you get the foot, because maybe now you don't have the resources to get the replacement foot. You have to bear that in mind. But what else out there can allow me to get to the resources? What can give me access to? These are the things that have to start rolling inside of your brain. As I said, I understand that the emotion are the first thing will come up. But now you have to work through the emotion. And this is a thing in the mind where you have to allow yourself to control the thoughts that are coming. Because if you don't control the thoughts, they will come in. Because situations will dictate to it. But you have to figure out, how do I control these thoughts? And if I can control the thoughts, then the thoughts are not making the practical decisions. The emotion, not the thoughts, but the emotions are not making the decisions. Because the moment the emotion make the decision, you take your true logical out. You can't see the other side. You need to see the other side. That is how balance them act.
See, so was you're big. You bring up me like that point there because I feel like sometimes even in my own self, make it find myself get caught in the emotion, can't think straight. So how do you in your own self, how do you figure out the process of controlling your emotions?
Well, with my own is time helped me. Because as I said, I wasn't like this in the beginning, right? Emotion usually override with. But then we recognize that when we make emotional decisions, they don't benefit us, right? There's no long-term benefit anyway for us to gain. Emotions override with. We do an action, and then emotions feel satisfied in that present moment.
What
happened to me will come more. Okay, see, that is where I always have to think about. Something will come after. What is the thing that will come after? That may have to try control. You understand? So over time we learn not to let the emotions become the decision maker. So I will feel it coming in, but me aware of it now. And the moment me aware of it now, me take back the control. Right? I might even start a sentence with it, but I have to pull it back because I recognize it. And that is the power of awareness. Being aware of the situation of yourself. Because you recognizing that this is a deficiency in you, where the emotions are always making the decisions, you need to recognize that first. After that you can press. But how you going to press when? As far as you are concerned, the emotion made a good decision and that is it. But what are the consequences that follow? You know what I'm saying? So, with all of these things that go through my brain, this is how I get to control it. I might be in the emotion today, but tomorrow I'm in the guaranteed.
Back on it again.
Ready on the track again. And as I said, it's just the journey of life and training yourself for this kind of thought process. Now, why I get to this kind of thought process is becoming Rastafari. So that control my journey. Because the moment I decided to take up, because it was a decision, so the moment I decided to take up that mantle, I know all of the things will come. I know the legacy will come with it, and I know the artwork will come with it too. Because I know so I take up something where whole heap of ones not really have a positive thought about. Now over time that itself is changing. But we never have business with that. Because I and I journey and Rastafari I got to get that out of it.
See, and I'm like I lead into that, you know, so Rastafari will make you become Rasta because like I say, you know, lots of people not know what Rasta is, right? So I want to explain what the concept and the origin of that is. But not only that, well actually we will start with that. Because we know that lots of people have negative connotation about Rasta. They say, boy, Rasta, I smoke weed, I do this, I tea. You know what I mean? I do all that thing there. But that is not what it is. So I have to explain, because part of the show now is education. So I have to educate the people and them too as well. Right? So I have to expand on that.
Well, so first we have to give you how Rasta become, right? Before I even enter into it. Right? So Rastafari have certain pillars. The first one, Haile Selassie, the first pillar, Marcus Garvey, the liberty of Rastafari, the way how you live. Now, Rasta born out of the fact that Marcus Garvey asked a question. him say, where is the black man kingdom? Where is the black man king? Because you have to remember back in the 1930s, 1920s how the world was. How Jamaica was. Because Marcus Garvey is a man from Jamaica. Right? Rise up out of Jamaica, head to New York in Harlem and change the whole of Merrimaca. Right? Now if a man from Jamaica can rise up and do that, you have to recognize him. And then he asks the question, where is the black man king? Where is the black man kingdom? 1930. Who will get crowned emperor of Ethiopia? Haile Selassie the first. And the king said, him not take him coronation without him queen, Empress Menen. Right? So that helped for form a kind of thinking in a brethrens, ones and ones who can say, oh, but here's a king. Ethiopia never get colonized. The only African country never get colonized. So them try. Mussolini and them friends. They try. Menelik beat them back. Right? And just think about at the time how we beat them back. Him now have arms like with them arms. Strategy. You know what I say? So with that frame of mind, when I see Rasta, and I say, oh, but this can liberate my mind. So now I start reading the philosophies and opinions of Marcus Garvey. I read the autobiography of Haile Selassie. That show me the kind of people who I want to associate self with. So now I journey start. But I couldn't come to that without hearing something. So I hear a song. Sister Galanji, big up yourself. You don't know me, but I know the song. Right?
Yeah.
And them sing, and the first song I ever hear was Sizzla sing. And there's a line inside it where say, the next man God can't come save you. That will be yours. You know have to go define God for yourself. So that's how we get steep inside our history now when we start to read some more now. Right? But from we hear that song, it kick off something inside our brain. I will still never follow through with it yet, you know. Because we still live out in the world and I go on with yourself, you know. But at some point, the song come back again, won't leave I. So we start take notice now. So we start, as I said, we start to read. And the more we read, and we start learning about Kush and Kemet and all these things, I say, oh, we're connected to a long lineage of people who are great, elevate themselves, Rasta, and we just travel. And just because of that, as I said, because I'm always trying to become an next version of myself, a better version of myself, but it's true Rastafari, I see it. So the liberty now starts say, be a brother's keeper. Live good. Treat self good. Or you treat self good. Thought, consumption. See self, yourself, in the next self where they are across from you. So now no separation of people. So here you come, I and I.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
So Rome teacher for say, you and I. Separate. Yeah, Rastafari said no separation in life. I and I. So when I see the I see I. Emperor Haile Selassie I.
Okay.
Because we see ourselves in the king.
Okay. So okay. We know that.
You understand?
Yeah, I see you now.
So we try to hold up king principles. And know that make you start to think of yourself as king.
That. Okay. I know that. Okay.
Right? So now everything else start manifest outside out of that.
Yeah.
And so after you have the pillars, the whole start farm and the colors start go on and roofing and all of these things. So we build around that. So you have different mansions of Rastafari, but one central pillar.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, that's there first. So we
Right,
drive through that.
Okay. And so, yeah, okay, I mean, I didn't know that. I never know that and that was the thought process behind it. But now that I see that make a lot of sense because you see yourself eating King Eddie side.
Yes, but I see myself in the other ones then
As
too.
well as in everybody.
Yeah.
There's connection.
No separation.
There's no separation.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not you and me, it's not Aquille and Dennis. It's I and I. So that means say, alright, so here how that principle come out of all again. You have a thing in a Kemet, what them call them art. It have 32, 33 principles. But these principles call for reflection. And here what it ask, I have not. So anything where you think say you could have do to a next one, it ask you, I have not done this to A. I have not coveted my brother's wife. I have not stolen. I have not cheated. I have not. It ask you for do the reflection there. And every time you say I, it's a mythology, you know. But every time you say I, you have to put it on the scale. And the scale better stay balance. Can't tip to one side or the other.
Yeah.
Because that in itself, I tell you, say, life carry balance. You not feel upset the apple cart. Keep the balance in life. Now if I go forward with that principle, I mean I'm not supposed to take away nothing from the other one. I can't replenish. Or what the eye can't get from an eye. That means I will steal evil. Not at your expense, you know, colloquial local terms.
Yeah.
Not at your expense will I do these things.
Yeah.
You gain, I gain.
Because remain balance.
Balance.
If you gain and me lose, balance just we disrupt.
Yes. And especially if you do it with a negative thought, because sometimes them call it the negative confessions. If you read the book, where Western people call the Book of the Dead, but them call it in a Kush, them call it the coming forth by day and night, right? But you read that, it'll tell you how to strike the balance, and it'll tell you why. And the skills are always at play. From one, don't tip it too high. You don't take more than you need.
Yeah. Agreed.
So, all these principles, and these principles guide we. So even if we have a falter, well, the locks grow long now, so okay, I'm forget to say that. So it itself become a constant reminder, and through we always try to evolve to become a better version of yourself. I mean, where you going to reach? The pinnacle, the pyramid. You're not going to reach to the top. You actualize, but you have to keep climbing. Because every time you go, you're evolving to something else, which means a new peak.
It's a new peak. Every time you get a new peak.
Exactly.
New peak farm.
Right. And so we travel through those lenses, and those things make we become aware of our surroundings. Everything. So now, just because of the thought process, we see and hear everything. So now that helps us to control ourselves. Right? So it's like a rum drinker. Use of analogy. You can't go in a bar. You can't go in any meat shop. You don't buy nothing in there.
You don't know.
That's it.
You don't know,
I already know say I have to control it to not. You know what I say? I can walk because I don't drink, but I can go inside there. And it won't affect I. Because now I develop the controls where help guide I through all of this process. Right? And I have to give thanks to Rastafari for that, just because it helped change the thought process, the mind.
The mind,
Right?
How you perceive things, how you choose.
Because everything in life is perception. You know?
Perception. Perception is everything, you know. Like, for example, people perceive that underneath here I bald, but they're wrong. I have a full head of hair, I have crazy braid up. I will show you, you know, but it's in time for that. I ain't ready to do all that. But if you perceive that this was the end of the episode, you would be wrong, because there will be a part 2 next week, taking on right where we left off. So watch. Perception is everything. Remember that. This episode has gems. Next episode, part 2, crazy gems. So stay tuned. We'll see you next week.